Well, hello everybody and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday, only here on Top Shelf Oldies. Want to welcome you to the December 2nd, 2017 Vinyl Treasures Show. We are in the last month of the year. I really cannot believe it. I really can't. No, I can as John G gets ready for year end. With the with the utility company I work for, it'll be crazy. No, really in January though. But glad you're here for the next 2 hours. Got some cool original vinyl 45s out of my collection. It's 1950s and early 60s edition, and we opened up with the house band for Miss Zell Sanders' J&S record label out of the Bronx, New York, and they were called the Chi-Tone 5 Orchestra. Backed up many of the artists that recorded on the J&S label, Amanda Hopper, Freddie Scott, Johnny and Joe, the Belltones, and the female artist that actually is on the A side of this 45, Baby Washington, the A side of this record. I'll play it next week. Actually, I won't be here next week, but the week after. Every Day, a great tune by her. But we heard the B side of the 45. It was called Smitty's Rock. Smitty's Rock from April 1957 on the J&S record label, the Chi-Tone 5 Orchestra. And they had another release on the J&S record label from 1958. Sack Rock was the name of that one. Anyway, enough of my babbling here. Let's open up with the vocal portion. We go to a song, this record recorded in the basement of 1630 Amsterdam Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. That's where label owner, the Reverend Alfred Crite Mason Jr., he set up his office in his house, in his home, and his Mason's label. It's unfortunate that the sound quality isn't the greatest. The song is written by the lead singer. His name is Bernard Felton. This one from 1958. We open up the vocal portion with the Thrashers on Masons and their tune called Genie.
Bunny, 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 oh, baby, bunny, 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 bunny,
1958 release there for the Thrashers. The Thrashers on the Masons label. Bernard Felton on lead for that one. He also wrote the tune. Genie is the name of it. And it's unfortunate that the sound quality isn't better, but that's the best you're going to get. And an expensive 45 if you own the original. And Slim Rose, he was able to get this one reissued in 1961 on red vinyl. I think it also comes in black vinyl, but red vinyl, I think I've seen it. But I had to hold out for an original. And does anybody have a copy of that doesn't say sample stamped on it? I posted that one up on my Facebook wall. It looks like Sampy, but it's really sample that was stamped on that one. Now for my babbling here, let's continue here. Got a lot of B-sides from 2 weeks ago, the 50s and early 60s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show, as I always feature the B-sides. Now this, from the last show I played, the only release by this group, they were known as the Corals. It's on the Decca label. I played the ballad. It was called In My Dream, an excellent ballad. Now the B-side's A Cool Jump, written by group member Robert Cassidy, but it features Irwin Williams on lead. We go to May of 1956. Give a listen to the Corals on Decca and their tune called Rock and Roll Baby.
I want a rock and roll baby who can rock and roll with me. I want a rock and roll baby who can rock and roll with me. She gotta rock and fine and roll with me all the time. Well, she gotta be good and dance in open space. Well, she's gotta be good and dance in open space. But there will be another girl that's waiting to take your place. Well, she gotta be good and love that brand new girl. Well, she's gotta be good and love that brand new girl. I want sweet pretty baby like I can really pray. Well, I want rock and roll, ooh, I want rock and roll, ooh yes, I want rock and roll, oh please, I want rock and roll. Well, I want rock and roll with me.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That one there from May 1956. They're called the Corals, C-H-O-R-A-L-S. The Corals there. Irwin Williams on lead for that one. That's on the Decca record label. Rock and Roll Baby. Now this group formed combining members of both the Checkers and the Dominoes. And a great two-sided 45 there. Their only release, by the way, as we continue here for a Saturday evening. And let's continue with more B-sides. This time we go to Bobby Robinson's Red Robin record label. I played the third of 5 by the Vocaliers. The side was called I Walk Alone. I also like the flip side, co-written by the lead singer. His name is Joe Duncan. Let's give a listen to the Vocaliers from August 1953. The Vocaliers on Red Robin with the B-side. The song is called How Soon.
How soon will you ever love me? I'm as sad as can be. Oh yes, how soon
make records like that anymore. That is for sure. Those are the Vocaliers. Vocaliers there from August 1953. Joe Duncan on lead for that one. That's on the Red Robin label. Very cool label to collect for you collectors out there. You want to start your Red Robin collection. Mellow moods are tough to find, that is for sure. But that is How Soon. And they have other releases on the Old Town label, on Paradise Records, on Vest, and on Twist Time. And I featured all those 45s here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. As we continue, we count down the music chronologically here on the 50s and early 60s edition. Let's stay in 1953, but we head to Detroit, Michigan, as this group initially recorded as the Musketeers on the Roxy label, and also on the Swing Time label, and also as the Royals on Venus. I have a nice 78 of that, and also the 45. But later on, they would be known as the Royal Jokers, the same Royal Jokers that recorded for the Atco record label. But prior to that, in between the Venus Royals and the Royal Jokers, they were known as the Serenaders. Had releases on Coral and JVB and Swing Time, and this 45 that I'm featuring on Sid Nathan's Deluxe record label, playing the intended A-side. It's the jump side. It features Noah Howell on lead. Let's go to November 1953, the Serenaders on Deluxe, and their tune called Baby. November 1953, a cool R&B rocker there by the Serenaders. Noah Howell on lead for that one. Baby is the name of the tune. Sid Nathan's Deluxe Records, another great label to collect. Lots of different types of music on the Deluxe label, but those were pre-Royal Jokers, the same Royal Jokers that recorded for the Atco label, and they also had releases, these Royal Jokers, on High Q, Fortune, Metro, Keldon, and Big Top. But still, this group, the Serenaders, the Royal Jokers, great great groups. And later on, I have, if I get to it, a Royal Jokers cover. I think that a lot of people like, a Top Shelf Oldies favorite. Let's continue here. We move into 1954 with another flip side from last week. I featured the Cherokees. The Cherokees, their first release on Herb Slotkin's Grand label out of Philadelphia, PA. I played the intended B-side. It was called Rainbow of Love. So let's give a listen to the intended A-side before I file it back down in the No Humidity basement. This one features Russell Carter on lead. It came out in January of 1954. The Cherokees on Grand, their first release on Grand. It's called I Had a Thrill.
I got a thrill, gee, what an ocean, got me going crazy, and I'm in love with you, in love with you. I got a thrill, gee, such a funny, funny feeling, got me going crazy, and I'm in love with you, in love with you. Well, each day and night I pray that no one will steal you away. I thank my lucky star. Gee, girl, what you doing to me? I got a thrill. Gee, what an ocean, got me going crazy. That I'm in love with you, in love with you. Well, each day and night I pray that no one will steal you away. I thank my lucky star. Gee! Girl, what you doing to me? I got a thrill. Gee, what a funny, funny feeling, got me going crazy. That I'm in love with you, in love with you. That I'm in love with you.
Out of Philadelphia, Herb Slotkin's Grand record label, another cool label to collect. If you get all those Castell 45s and all, but you need the other Cherokees, that is for sure. But I Had a Thrill is the name of the tune by the Cherokees, January 1954. Russell Carter on lead for that one. And John G gets a thrill every Saturday spinning my original vinyl 45s. Now, their second release is really, really a hard record, Grand number 110, Please Tell Me So, and a 45 that Johnny G is still looking for. I'll even take it on a 78 if I can find it. Anyway, let's continue here for a Saturday evening. Let's stay in 1954, but really don't know much about this next group, but they are out of Washington, D.C. They recorded 3 for the Mercury record label, and they were all produced by Fred Foster. Now, Fred Foster would later create the Monument label, but this is an early production by him from September 1954, and it's the second release for this group. Their first release was the original version of a song you may know that Elvis did, Trying to Get to You, actually later covered by other artists, but namely Elvis Presley. But this is on the Pink Mercury label, the R&B Mercury. Mercury was pretty cool. They color-coded their labels for the type of music. The green labels are like boppers and country westerns. The maroons, I think they can go two ways. The same thing with the blacks, but the pinks are definitely R&B releases. This one from September 54. Give a listen to the Eagles on Mercury. The tune is called Such a Fool.
Why am I such a fool? Must I cry over you? What's the use when I know you won't be true? Lonely nights, lonely days, I can tell what's in you. Why am I such a great big fool for you? I know you will hurt me. You hurt me so many times before. I know I'll be the one to pay. I should hate you, but I love you more. I should find someone new. I believe could be true. Why am I such a great big fool for you? I know you will hurt me. You've hurt me so many times before. I know I'll be the one to pay. I should hate you, but I love you more. Oh, I should find someone new. I believe could be true. Why am I such a great big fool for you? Why am I such a great big fool for you?
I like that jump there. Those are the Eagles. The Eagles, the second of three on the Mercury record label. I think all their releases were in 1954. September 54 for that one. Such a Fool is the name of the tune. If on John G, I don't want to seem like such a fool if you see me putting my hand in front of the webcam. It's because sometimes it gets out of focus with these colors. And again, remember, I dropped that webcam in a cup of coffee a number of years ago, and there's some dried coffee stuff in there, so until that thing kind of gets out of there, sometimes it doesn't focus as well. Anyway, let's continue with the music. Up next, I posted this one on my Facebook wall. You can check it out, those of you attached to Facebook, but this is the only release for this great West Coast group. Now, supposedly, I couldn't verify it because I have a bio promo on this on Sid Nathan's Federal label, and most of the time, at least with the first records from new groups, they put the names of the artists on there. They'll list them, but not with this press. I don't know if maybe that was because they didn't want anybody to know, because Johnny Otis really involved with this record quite a bit. But supposedly, this group consisted of Jesse Belvin, Eugene Church, Harold Lewis, and Mel Williams. So if anybody can verify that, you can send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com, or you can go right on my Facebook wall and post it if you know for a fact. But it's a great two-sided 45. We're going to give a listen to the B-side. It's from August of 55. They're called The Sheiks. It's on Federal. And the tune is called, this is the ballad, it's called Sentimental Heart.
Here is a sentimental heart, a heart that longs for you. Here is love, dear, that's oh so true. Maybe someday you'll want my sentimental heart. emotions and burning desire. The love light is burning, my heart's on fire. Maybe someday you'll want my sentimental heart. I'll go on loving you, yeah, day after day. Oh, hoping and praying, oh dear Lord, yeah, that I'll hear you say, there's a sentimental heart, a heart that longs for you. Here's love, dear, that's oh so true. Maybe someday you'll want my sentimental heart.
Yeah, that's Sid Nathan's Federal record label. They're out of Cincinnati, Ohio, but the group's out of California. They're called The Sheiks, August 1955. On the Federal record banner, Sentimental Heart is the name of that one. That's the B-side of the 45. The A-side, by the way, is the original version of So Fine. You know, So Fine, a tune written by Johnny Otis. Now, of course, it was a big hit in May 1959 by the Fiestas on High Weiss's Old Town record label. And actually, Federal would re-release this record in 1959, kind of to try to promote it along with the hit that the Fiestas were having. But anyway, that is a cool tune. That's a great record, I think. Jai G here for a Saturday evening. We spin my original vinyl 45s. You know, I'm going to have some pops and scratches and stuff. I wish you can get everything in mint, and I just can't, or I couldn't, but I would love to. That is for sure. But let's continue here. Let's continue with another flip side from the last 50s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show. I featured this girl duet out of Harlem, New York on Joe Leibowitz's premium record label, and they were located in Linden, New Jersey. Now, the gals were Betty Ann Williams and Rosetta Brown, and they were known as the Copacetics, and I played the B-side of their only release. It was called Collegian. Let's give a listen to the A-side, a song that they both wrote. This one from November 1956. We move into 1956. The Copacetics on premium with their tune called Believe in Me.
Oh, bibbly oh, wop wop oh, bibbly oh, wop wop oh, bibbly oh, wop wop oh. Damn, believe in me, for I am yours alone, and I will never let you go. 'Cause I love you so, my love, I love you so. Damn, please trust in me, for I am yours alone, and I will never let you go. 'Cause I love you so, my love, I love you so. Damn, well I love you, and I need you. Please say you're mine all the time. Believe in me, for I am yours alone, and I will never let you go. 'Cause I love you so,
November 1956 release there. They're called the Copacetic. The Copacetic on the premium label. Their tune called Believe in Me. You know, Joe Leibowitz, this label, not that they had many hits. I guess really the only hit they had would have probably been My Heart's Desire by the Wheels, but he suffered a heart attack sometime in 1957, and this label just totally went bankrupt. They totally lost their way. Unfortunate, though, to happen, but it can happen in a small business. It can, but that was unfortunate, the ending of the premium record label. Lots of great tunes on the premium label, another great label to collect. John G's here for a Saturday evening. We're here from 10 to midnight, spinning 1950s and early 60s. We count down the music chronologically here. Let's continue. We are in 1956, and let's continue with more flip sides. This group from Brooklyn, New York, I featured the Hurricanes a couple of weeks ago. As we go back to Sid Nathan's, this time King label, I played their third of 7, a song called Tell Me Baby. That featured Fred Williams on lead. How about we give a spin to the intended A side of the 45? It features Henry Austin on lead. We go to February 1956. These are the Hurricanes on King and their tune called Raining in My Heart.
Oh, yes, it's raining in my heart. It's really raining in my heart. My eyes are dry, I cannot cry. Oh, but it's raining in my heart. There, when I met you face to face and found a new love in my place, for just a while I wore a smile. Oh, but it's raining in my heart. My darling, when you left me, you told me we must part. The road, the teardrops poured deep down in my heart. Someday the sun will shine again when you return, dear, and only then. With all your charm back in my arms, there'll be a rainbow in my heart. Rainbow in my heart.
That's those. Those are the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes, February 1956, Sid Nathan's King record label. That is the A-side, Raining in My Heart. Henry Austin on lead for that one. That's the third of 7 releases for that group, the Hurricanes, on the King record label. John G here spinning my 45s. Let's stay in 1956, but we go to Dayton, Ohio for this group that initially recorded as the Belvederes. The Belvederes on the Hudson label in 1955. Then they quickly had to change their name to the Dusters, and that is because there was a Belvederes group already recording for the Baton record label. And I have that Hudson 45, but only as the Dusters, don't have it as the Belvederes. But their next release came out on Carl Burkhart's Arc label out of, I think, Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's with the Jamie Brinkley Orchestra. This one from June of 56. Give a listen to the Dusters on Arc with a song called Give Me Time.
You got yours and now you wanna quit. Why can't you wait just a little bit? Oh baby, you got yours, please let me get mine. We'll both have such a wonderful time. You made me feel like a young man should. Now you wanna stop when the getting gets good. You got yours, please let me get mine. We'll both have such a wonderful time. Good, 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 so fine. Good, 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 so fine. Love me, baby, but give me time. Roll it to me, baby, roll it back again. Don't stop now, I'll tell you when. Oh, baby, you got yours, please let me get mine. We'll both have such a wonderful time. Good, 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 so fine. Good, 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 so fine. Love me, baby, but give me time.
June 1956 there for the Dusters on the Arc label, and their tune called Give Me Time. They'd have one more release on the Glory label. I really love the tune they do on Glory. It's called Darling Love from 1958. That is a great tune by the Dusters. Johnny G's here for a Saturday evening spinning original vinyl 45s. We do it every Saturday. Program note, I will not be here next Saturday. I'll be in Long Island. My brother, my niece, and nephew having a birthday party. So Ramtown Mike will fill in starting at 10 p.m. here. So tune in to Ramtown Mike next Saturday evening. I'll be back the following week. I'll also be filling in for Ramtown Mike. I'll be doing a 60s show. I think it's January 24th. I think, Mike, he put it on the calendar, so you can check that out. Johnny G here is continuing with cool 45s out of 1956, and on the last 50s edition, I featured the debut single by this group known as the Legends. Came out on Morty Craft's Melba label. Played the up-tempo B-side. I would always have thought that a group would want their up-tempos to be the A-side, but not the case with this record. But it's a great two-sided 45. The up-tempo was called I'll Never Fall in Love Again, but the B-side is a ballad. Nice ballad written by the tenor of the group. His name is Richard Brunson, and the lead singer Marshall Samples. And I have a nice mint copy of this, but this is my first copy that I bought years and years and years ago when I had a office help temporaries job working during the summer of my high school, or maybe it was college, I can't remember. But anyway, it's great two-sided 45. We're going to listen to the ballad here, September 56, The Legends on Melba. It's called The Eyes of an Angel. That's Marshall Samples on lead, and the Legends. That's their debut 45, Morty Craft's Melba label. That's the same label that had the hit Church Bells May Ring. September 1956, The Eyes of an Angel. Of course, they would go on to have one more release on B. Caslin's Hull label, The Legend of Love. Another great record they do, two-sided 45. And I know some collectors, they would not collect anything less than a VG Plus. But I guess, sometimes, mostly in recent days, it's very hard to find nice, clean copies of records, especially today. And again, where you are financially makes it difficult sometimes to buy these clean copies from record dealers. Sometimes lots of quantities, sometimes they bubble up sometimes, and you can get, and I think you can get a lot of records very cheaply nowadays as compared to I gotta say, I got some good records at cheap prices way back when in the early 1970s, but sometimes it's very difficult. And I don't know, I don't want to say most people that were buying at the time did not take care of their records, but I know my aunt did not, and she had a lot of great records in her collection, I would say. But I would always find these boxes of 45s at garage sales, and I would see them fully intact, but they were all like Frankie Avalon and the Chipmunks and all these pop records. And once in a while you'll find like a nice copy of something on Sun or whatever. Sometimes you would be surprised, really. Anyway, John G. babbling on for a Saturday evening. Let's continue here. Never get tired of hearing this next song, as this group, they're from Atlanta, Georgia, and too bad they only did this one recording on Al Silver's Herald label. With the true first press originals, this group was known as the Five Debonaires, and the subsequent releases after that, they were just known as the Debonaires. But I was kind of cheated at first when I first bought this record, because it's a nice mint copy, but it's a West Coast press of the true first, and I'm disappointed because I like to see the normal-looking Herald label. The West Coast presses at the Monarch Pressing Plant, very easy to decipher, and I kind of feel cheated, but it is an original, I have to say. But anyway, let's give it a spin from November 1957, the Five Debonaires on Herald, and their tune called Darlin.
Dom dom doobin dom dom dooby dooby dom dom doobin dom dooby dom doobin dom dom.
Oh, darling, how I want you, and how I need you. I love you so.
Dom doobin dom dom.
Please, please, darling, don't ever leave me. Oh, well now, darling, I want you so, oh, darling, I need you, I never, ever let you go, oh, darling, please don't leave me, and don't deceive me, I need you so.
November 1957 on Al Silver's Herald record banner. They're the Five Debonaires. Five Debonaires with their tune called Darlin. That's a nice copy, but it's a West Coast Monarch press. But I have a promo. I have a promo that says the Debonaires. It doesn't say the Five Debonaires. And I also do have like a VG plus copy of the stock. But I would like it to be nice and clean like that. But anyway, you can't really, beggars can't be choosy. Now, Bill Lowry produced that 45. Now, he was the owner of Lowry Music in Atlanta, and he produced the 45. And after this release, he would form the NRC label, and some cool 45s on that NRC label. John G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue. We are in 1957. Let's go out to New Haven, Connecticut, and feature a female lead with male backing, members of male backing, and this is the first of two releases that they had two releases that came out on Joe Davis's Davis label. Two nice songs, Love Is True and Forever I Vow, but they left Joe Davis's Davis label to sign with Marty Kugel's Standard label. The result was this 45, a tune written by the lead singer. Her name is Ruby Whittaker. I have a nice copy of this one from February 1957. They're called The Chestnuts. The Chestnuts on Standard Records. The tune is called Who Knows Better Than I.
Better than
Out of New Haven, Connecticut there. Those are the Chestnuts, February 1957. On Marty Kugel's standard record label, Who Knows Better Than I, Ruby Whittaker on lead. Now, first presses have to just say the Chestnuts. Second presses, they gave her credit, Ruby Whittaker and the Chestnuts on those second presses. She'd have other releases. I think there's a nice one she does on the Mark X label. Have played that one here, and a couple other ones by her. But that's a great tune. I like that one there. Warren, gotta find that 45. Yes, you do. John G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here on the last 50s edition. I played an unknown group out of New York. They were called the Empires, or so the researchers said, that this Empires is an unknown empire, not the same group that recorded for the Harlem label. It came out on Bill Lashley's Amp 3 label, played the up-tempo side. It was called Zippity Zip. That was the A side, which you would figure because it was a up-tempo side to dance to, so that's what the majority of these records were for. It was for the teenagers to get up and dance. But the B side is a nice ballad, and let's give it a spin before I file it back down in the No Humidity basement. It's with Teddy McRae and his orchestra. It's from August of 57, the Empires on Amp 3. The tune is called If I'm a Fool.
I search for you, darling, by night and by day, because I'm so lonely since you went away. I missed you so much I could cry. If I'm just a fool, tell me why. Although my friends told me that you were untrue, how could I believe them? I loved only you. I know now that I wasn't smart. A fool shouldn't lead with his heart. I hope we meet again, dear, and try to make a man. And if we never meet again, I'd like to say that we are still friends. Goodbye, my false lover, and now that we're through, I worship you, darling. I love only you. I miss you so much I could cry. If I'm just a fool, tell me why. If I'm just a fool, tell me why.
That's another great two-sided 45 on the Amp 3 record label. August 1957, they're called the Empires. The flip side of Zippity Zip, a tune called If I'm a Fool. Hopefully Johnny G not a fool every Saturday from 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies. Let's do another one out of 1957. How about a sound out of New Orleans, Louisiana? On the Vinyltreasure show, this singer, songwriter, and electric blues guitarist started recording back in 1948 on the Blue Bonnet record label, but he had others on Specialty and this label I'm featuring, Johnny Vincent's Ace Records. It's the first of three for Frankie Lee Sims, a tune that he co-wrote. Let's go to September of 1957. Frankie Lee Sims on Ace, and his tune called Hey, Little Girl.
sometime. Yes, you may be a woman, but you come to see me sometime. You better watch yourself, cause I'm liable to make a change of mind. But don't get mad at me, I ain't gonna get mad at you. But don't get mad at me, I ain't gonna get mad at you. Because I cannot do no more than woman let me do. But hey, hey, little girl, hey, hey, little girl, hey, little girl, hey, hey, little girl, hey, hey, little girl. Yeah, she's all right with me. Woman, I'd be glad the rest of your life. But I love my baby, man, indeed I do. Yes, I love my baby, man, indeed I do. But all I want you to tell me to let your heart be through.
Rockers here on the Vinyltreasure Show. You know, Johnny G runs thousands of labels. I run the Ace label, lots of groups on the Ace label, also lots of single artists and lots of rockers like that. Frankie Lee Sims, the first of three on the Ace label out of Mississippi, September 1957. Hey Little Girl is the name of the tune. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue here and back to the flip sides as we go out to the West Coast to Dootsy Williams' Dutone record label. I played the 9th of 12 releases for Vernon Green and the Medallions. I played the up-tempo B-side of their 9th release. It was called I Wonder, 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 but here is the side that was pushed by the LA disc jockeys, written by the lead singer, Vernon Green. This one from June of 1957. It's on Duto. He switched from Dutone to Duto, then went back to Dutone, but it's Vernon Green and the Medallions on Duto. The tune is called For Better or For Worse.
For better or for worse, I'll always love you. If you be true, then I will say I do. For better or for worse, we'll walk down the aisle, you dressed in white, with me wearing a smile. Yes, and I'll promise. Yes, 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 to be true. Yes, 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 and I'll always. Yes, 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 and I'll always love you for better or for worse. we'll live happily in that little white house where we raise a family. Oh yes, and I'll promise, yes, 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 to be true, yes, 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 and I'll always, yes, 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 and I'll always love you for better or for worse. We'll live happily in that little white house where we'll raise a family.
And raise a family, and raise a family, and raise a family.
Sounds of California here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Vernon Green and the Medallions. Sweet Words of Pismotality. That one there, June 1957, For Better or For Worse. That is the tune, that one there. Dootsy Williams Duto record label out of Los Angeles, California. We continue here. We move into 1958. It's always great to find 45s like this one for 25 cents. I used to go to the Orangeburg 303 Drive-In flea market every Sunday back in the 1970s. And one time this guy showed up with thousands and thousands of movie stills. Interesting movie stills. Not that I was involved in movie stills, but just looked cool to see these pictures of movies, horror movies, comedies, all stuff from the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s. Maybe it was valuable. I don't know, but he also, I was just not interested in that stuff. He had tons of sheet music, and he had brand new old 45s is what he coined them. And I found a couple in the batch by this Philadelphia PA group known as the Guy Tones, and in all they recorded 5 on Sid Nathan's deluxe label. Here is their 4th, features James Brown Robinson on lead. We go to April of 1958, the Guy Tones on deluxe with their tune called Baby, I Don't Care.
Well, I don't care what people say or do, as long as I have you, baby, I don't care. I don't care. Well, I don't care what people look and see, just so you belong to me, baby, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care as long as you want me. I don't care as long as you need me. I don't care as long as you love me. I don't care. Please don't leave me. I don't care. I don't care. Don't deceive me. I don't care.
Definitely worth 25 cents. I'd say the fourth of five for the Guy Tones. James Brown Robinson on lead, April 1958. The Guy Tones with Baby I Don't Care, Sid Nathan's Deluxe Records. I could do a deluxe special, that is for sure, but that's been done before. Rockin' Jim Rigsby did, I think, a deluxe special a number of years ago. I think I have him on CD. I do, but anyway, he does a lot of, or he used to do those label specials that he used to send me the CDs for. I have a ton of them, but they were very interesting, especially the ones I don't have. Anyway, John G babbling on here for a Saturday evening. Let's go with another B-side from the last 50s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show. I featured the Magnificents on the VJ label, their up-tempo tune called Don't Leave Me. Now, they were not the original Magnificents, the Johnny Keys Magnificents that had somewhat of the hit Up on the Mountain. This was a totally different group. They were known as the Five Wonders. They were out of Evansville, Indiana. But let's flip over that 45, give a listen to the B-side of Don't Leave Me. It's from May of 1958. And if anybody out there, I mean, there's lots of popular names nowadays, but how many of you know a name, the name Ozita? I don't know any Ozitas, but I know there are Ozitas out there. But this is a nice B-side here from May of 58, the Magnificents on VJ, and their tune called Ozita.
Ozita, darling, oh, how I love you. Ozita, darling, no one's above you. Ozita, darling, can't do without you. Ozita, darling, my love won't doubt you. Was all alone, and I told you, pretty baby, that your heart was made of stone. Ozita, darling, I love you. Ozita, darling, no one's above you. Ozita, darling, please say you love. I saw you, satisfied my soul, and I told you, pretty baby, I told you that love was my goal. Ozita, darling, I love you. Ozita, darling, no one's above you.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Magnificents, a.k.a. the Five Wonders, May 1958. Ozita. That's on Vivian Carter's VJ record label. Lots of those VJs on recycled vinyl. Sometimes if you look at the vinyl in the dead wax, it looks like somebody had a Brillo pad and just scratched the record. And a lot of those presses are like that. But I think a lot of the West Coast, the Monarch presses on the VJs and the Chess, they play a lot better for some reason. I like those vinyl presses, that's for sure. John G's here for a Saturday evening as we continue here with We are in the year of 1958, the golden year of 1958. Back out to Hollywood, California, the Jim Hawthorne's MMI label, which was distributed exclusively by Dot Records. They also distributed the Tender label, you know, the Shields with You Cheated, but they also distributed this label called MMI, and it's the debut single for this group known as the Alpacas. The Alpacas. The song was co-written by Ray Stanley and the lead singer of this group. His name is Willie Walker. Let's go to August of 58, the Alpacas on MMI with their tune So True. It's called Time Marches On.
Time marches on. Every day.
She was fine as she could be. I never should have let her go. Now I see. Time marches on. Every day. Time marches on. Time marches on. Yes, I'm still alone. Such the world over. What did I find? I didn't even get no peace of mind. Time marches on. Every day. Time marches on. Time yes, I'm still alone. I'd start all over. Do anything. Girl, I love is when a wedding ring. Time marches on. Time marches on. Time marches on. Yes, I'm still alone. Time marches on. Every day. Time marches on. Time marches on. Every day.
August 1958, release there for the Alpacas. The Alpacas there, Willie Walker on lead for that one. Time Marches On. Yes, it does. It's on the MMI record label. They would have one more release in 1959 on the Freedom label. I have that 45. Don't know if I've featured it here, but I will. I will on future Vinyl Treasure shows. JohnnyG's here for a Saturday evening as we continue through the Vinyl Treasure show. Here's another flip side from a couple of weeks ago. It's on Art Rupe's specialty label. Featured this gal from Cleveland, Ohio. Her name was Winona Carr. Now, both sides of this 45 written by Sonny Bono. Sonny Bono wrote quite a bit. He really did, and he was a very talented writer for sure. I don't know about singer, but writer for sure. And I featured the B-side of this 45. It was called Touch and Go. Now, the A-side, it's a pretty nice tune. The background reminds me of a Sam Cooke song. I just can't place it, but it does. And it's more of a chorus versus a vocal group. I think the Turks were backing her up on the side I played a couple of weeks ago, but this is on her B-side. But here is the A-side. It's from April 58, Winona Carr. It's on specialty. It's called The Things You Do to Me.
If you only knew how much I care, if you only knew how I despair, then you'd know the things you do to me. Whoa, if you only knew how
much I cried when I thought you had passed me by. Then you'd know, you'd know, you'd know, you'd know, you'd know the things you do to me. I cry, cry, cry as I must because of my trust in you. You can't fulfill. I cry, cry, cry as I do only for you. When you're gone, I always will. Oh, if you only knew a feeling like this when I touch your hand and give you a kiss, then you'd know, you'd know, you'd know, you'd know, you'd know the things you do to me. Yes, I cry, cry, cry as I must because of my trust in you. You can't fulfill. I cry, cry, cry as I do only for you. When you're gone, I always will. Oh, if you only knew a feeling like this when I touch your hand and give you a kiss, then you'd know, you'd know, you'd know, you'd know, you'd know the things you do to me.
Do you think that's the backing track of You Send Me? It couldn't be, though, because You Send Me's on Bob Keene's Keene label. This is Art Rupe's specialty, but it sounds like that to me. It does. That is Winona Carr, April 1958, The Things You Do to Me. That one there, Art Rupe's specialty record label. JohnnyG's here for a Saturday evening. We count down the music chronologically here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We are in 1959 now, and we go back to the Bronx, New York for this group as their debut single came out on the Acme label, another great label to collect, in December of 1957, a tune called Franny Franny. But they had many cool tunes throughout the years on labels like Mr. Peacock, Madison, Marco, and this label, Record Records, and it features Antonio Aiello on lead. He was known as Nino. Of course, I'm talking about Nino and the Ebb-Tides. This one's from January 59. It's a B-side. Nino and the Ebb-Tides on Record, and their tune called Tell the World I Do.
Love you, love you, love you, tell the world I do. Love you, love you, love you, tell the world I do.
Why I love you, tell the world I do. I miss the loving that we once knew. Why I love you, won't you say you love me too? Oh, when I close my eyes, dear, all at once I see your heavenly figure press so close to me. Why I love you, won't you say you love me too?
That's the third of four for Nino and the Eptides on the Record label, January 1959. Antonio Aiello, he's the lead, he's Nino. That's Tell the World I Do is the name of the tune. That's the B-side of the 45. I'm still looking for, I collect both black and white vocal groups. I'm still looking for that Christmas record that the Eptides do on the Record label. Anyway, Jaji babbling on here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue with another one out of 1959. Now, on the last 50s show, I featured a rare West Coast 45 on the Rowan label. Actually, two 45s, a group 45s on that Rowan label, pretty rare. And this Los Angeles group known as the Classics, and the song was written by their manager. His name was Frank Robinson. It was called Burning Desire. And the B-side is pretty nice too, also written by their manager, but he must have known French for some reason, because the title of this song is in French, and I can't speak French. My girlfriend Barbara can speak French. She can speak French and Italian pretty fluently, but I don't know French. But I can tell you in English that the title of the song is called I Love You, and it's from March of 59. They're called The Classics. It's on Rowan Records, and the tune is called Je vous aime, I think.
And I want you to know I love the rain that falls down on you. I love the flowers that grow around you. I love the mention of your name. Surely you must know it's your heart I've come to claim. Jerusalem, Jerusalem. And I want you to know. Sans Noël to my Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem. And I want you to know I love the sun that shines down on you. Everywhere you go, I love the wind that turns your hair gentle as it blows. Jerusalem, Jerusalem. And I want you to know.
March 1959, out of Los Angeles, California, on the Rowan record label. Those are the Classics with Je vous aime. It means I love you in French. And Barbara, there you go, so she can check it out on the archive tomorrow. And this group would later record as the Viceroys on Art LeBeau's Original Sound record label. They do a nice cover of Dreamy Eyes, they do. And I remember when I bought these 45s, actually I had to buy them both at the same time from dealer Jerry Diaz. Sold me those, the two on Rowan, the stock copy and the Deltones, I think. That's a white promo for that one. John G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool 50s and early 60s 45s out of my collection. Got a few more to go in 1959. Up next, the cool two-sided 45 out of New York City. It's on a label called Kane, K-A-N-E. And the group consisted of David Cox, Herbie Hancock, Jerry Hayward, Robert Leake, and James McLaughlin. and collectively they were known as the Five Crystals. And this song written by Dossie Terry, who also has 45s. I think he has one on the Amp 3 label. One on King I Have is called, I think, What's the Word, Thunderbird. I think he does. But he wrote this song from October 1959. Give a listen to the Five Crystals. This is the A-side on the Kane label. It's called Hey Landlord.
Hey, hey, landlord, hey, landlord, hey, landlord, who's all in my door? When you gonna fix that door? I just can't take it no more. Hey, landlord, is that faucet leaking? Listen to the mice squeaking. I just can't take it no more. Well, no need to come a knocking, asking for the rent. Nick, Nick, if you don't fix, I ain't gonna give you another cent. Hey, landlord, put in that window pane so I don't feel this rain. I just can't take it no more. Hey, landlord, come here, landlord, come here, landlord. No need to come a knocking, asking for the rent. Nick, Nick, if you don't fix, I ain't gonna give you another cent. Hey, landlord, put in that window pane so I don't feel this rain. I just can't take it no more. Mr. Landlord, I can't take it no more.
October 1959 release there for the Five Crystals. Tune written by Dossie Terry. Actually wrote both sides, which are good. I say they are. Five Crystals there on the Kane label. Song entitled Landlord. Now, my landlord is hard of hearing. So what's good about that is I can blast the music at till 1 a.m. Last night I was programming the show, so it was about 3 a.m. in the morning, so I'm blasting the music. Our neighbors they don't go to bed early, so I definitely don't go to bed early. So my previous neighbors, they went to bed at 10 o'clock, and when they used to have guests, they used to say, "You're blasting the music, we're going to call the police." But no more. Johnny G can blast the music. I do blast it here when I record the show. Enough of my babbling here. Let's continue here. And I got another flip side from a couple weeks ago. Actually, I featured the B-side of this 45 on out of San Antonio, Texas, on the Harlem label, Harlem label out of Texas. And I played the lyrics. It was the B-side. It was called The Girl I Love, was the up-tempo side. But let's give a spin to the intended A-side. It was written by group member Dimas Garza. And I don't know if he's doing lead on this one. I can't tell. But the record started taking off regionally, was number 32 on KONO in San Antonio, Texas, which prompted Wildcat Records to pick this up for national distribution. But anyways, from August of 59, give a listen to the lyrics. It's on Harlem, and the tune is called Oh Please Love Me. Out of San Antonio, Texas. No, Warren, it's slightly off center. I was trying to line it up. That's what I was trying to do. It didn't sound that bad. No, it did not. That's a hard record, though. The lyrics from August 1959, "Oh, Please Love Me," is the name of that tune on the Harlem record label. You can also get it much cheaper on the Wildcat label. Jai G here for a Saturday evening. So, Warren, you liking these tunes here that you're looking at it? I was trying to line it up there, and you're looking at it's like got a kind of like a black circle around the center hole, so it's not that big. No, it's not. Anyway, let's continue here. And this 45 I purchased from the Count, aka Bob Ellis. If anybody has dealt with the Count through the years like I haven't bought a record from Bob in maybe about 8 or so years, maybe a little less. He did sell me one record on a rare record out of the Herb Dickerson Quartet, if anybody knows that 45. Anyway, rare one. But he sold me this in my early days of collecting, and I hope he's doing well, and I haven't seen him in quite a while. He did call me about a couple weeks ago to see what was going on. He wanted to offer me, I think, a Swans on Steamboat, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, he's just tough to deal with, but so buyer beware. But I bought this 45 from him so many years ago. Great two-sided 45, by the way, but I'm playing the up-tempo B-side, written by the lead singer. His name is Billy Mashburn. Billy Mashburn is the lead of this. From December of 59, they're called the Five Sounds. Five Sounds on the baritone label. The tune is called Good Time Baby.
Come on and love me.
That's a B-side here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. They're called the Five Sounds. Five Sounds, December 1959 release. It's on the Baritone label out of New York City. Good Time Baby is the name of the tune. Now, the writer of that tune and the lead singer, his name is Billy Mashburn, and he would later have a solo release on Atlantic Records in 1963 that the group Harmony Collectors do have. It's called Don't It Sound Good. Features a cameo, I call it a cameo appearance in the background by Richard Barrett. He does a bunch of like old songs in the background while Billy Mashburn, he is singing along in the record. Anyway, that's a cool two-sided 45. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we move into 1960 now, and this next 45 is a new addition to the Johnny G collection, this quintet from South Central Los Angeles. It's their debut single on Madeline and Jackson Baker's audio label, and it features Bobby Parker on lead. We go to December of 1960. They're known as the High Tensions. It's on Audio Records. The song is called The Clock. December 1960 release there for the High Tensions. High Tensions there. The Clock is the name of the tune. Bobby Parker is on lead for that one. Came out on the audio label. Now, the true first press for you collectors out there should be the Purple Label. The Purple Label is the first press. The Red Label is the second. Also came out on Gary Paxson and Kim Fowley's K&G label in 1961. I have that on the K&G label. Now, they have other cool releases, this group, the High Tensions. One on the Milestone label, also another on the Whirly Bird record label. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here on Vinyl Treasures. I'm going to stay out on the West Coast with this excellent girl group sound. I know North Dakota Bob loves this song, so I'm going to send it out to him. It was too late for him to stay up to hear it, so he's going to hear it on the archive. I know you like this tune, Bob, so I'm going to play it for you. This group consisted of Louise Williams and Beverly Peacock, who previously sung with the 16s, Diane Irvin, and the lead singer, her name is Lena Calhoun. They were known as the Emotions, and this is the A-side of their debut single. We send it out to North Dakota Bob from March of '61, The Emotions on Flip. with their tune called Been Looking Your Way. Cool girl group sounds here for a Saturday evening. Those are the Emotions. I love the guitar in that record. Yes, I do. We send it out to North Dakota Bob. He loves Lena Calhoun and the Emotions. March 1961, the first of three on the Flip label. They reissued that one later on, I think on their B-side of their last release. Been Looking Your Way is the name of the tune. John G's Been Looking Your Way, Saturday evenings from 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies. Let's continue here. And a few records ago, I featured the Lyrics, but that was the Lyrics out of San Antonio, Texas, a rare two-sided 45. Here is another Lyrics group. They are out of Nashville, Tennessee, and they also have a great two-sided 45. It's on Jack Clement's Fernwood label, and on the last Vinyl Treasure show, I played the intended A-side. It was called You and Your Fellow. Let's flip it over, give a listen to the B-side with Percy Millen on lead. This one from May of 1961. These are the Lyrics out of Nashville, Tennessee on Fernwood with their song called Let's Be Sweethearts Again.
You said you loved me right from the start. Now you're telling me you're going to break my heart. So darling, understand. Let's be sweethearts again. Sweethearts again. You broke all promises.
said you broke our rule. Now you're trying to use me like a fool. So darling, understand. Let's be sweethearts again. Sweethearts again. So darling, understand. Let's be sweethearts again.
Sounds of 61 here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Those are the lyrics. The lyrics out of Nashville, Tennessee, May 61, Let's Be Sweethearts Again. Percy Millen on lead for that one. It's on Fernwood Records. You know what the biggest hit on Fernwood Records was? It was Thomas Wayne. Tragedy. That was the biggest record in 59. That might be one of the harder records out of on the Fernwood record label. Johnny G here, almost in Vinyltreasure overtime. Let's continue here for this group out of Vallejo, California. Did I say that right? They were called the Biscaynes. The Biscaynes, and the group included a young Sylvester Stewart, who would later become famous as Sly of the Family Stone, but the group's name, I didn't know what a Biscayne was, but a Biscayne, believe it or not, is a form of a Chevy car model known as the Biscayne. You can check it out. It's a very cool looking automobile, that is for sure. I think they made it between 1958 and maybe 1970 or so, but that's what they called this group. But unfortunately, with their first release, there was a typo when they typeset the name of the group on the label. Instead of typing a B, they typed it as a V, and hence the group was known as the Biscaynes. And they would have somewhat of a regional hit in November of 61 called Yellow Moon, released on a label called VPM, that a label owned by the VPM owners were V as in Vic Lucas, Ricky Page, P for Page, and M for the husband, George Mottola, VPM Records. They followed that single with a release on the Artine label by the Vitones, they were called, and the song was called Stop What You Are Doing. But then for some reason that record was picked up by the Tropo label, which comes out on a couple of variations. And I was talking with my mentor, George Duop Tompkins, about this record. I think the copy that I have and he had is the true original of this, only because I've researched copies that went for sale, and a lot of trashed copies have sold with stickers and whatnot on the same copy that I have and that George had. So I think this is the first, and then Monarch repressed it using the Artine stampers. But anyway, we're going to give it a spin here. It's on the Tropo label with lines, and it features a gal on lead. Her name is Charlene Imhoff, and she's doing lead. So let's go back to October of 61. These are the Biscaynes. It's on Tropo, and the name of the tune is called Stop What You Are Doing.
You'd better stop what you're doing. Do you know what you're doing? You'd better stop, or I might cry. I might cry over you. Won't you think
October 1961 release there. They're called the Viscanes on the Tropo label, song called Stop What You Are Doing. I think the true first presses of that are on the Artine label by the Vitones. I think that is the first way to get that record. But then this somehow, I don't know what happened. Maybe one of the partners broke off and put it out on this label. Something happened with this record that was not good. You don't want to mess around with George Mottola, the I don't want to say that he can strong arm you, but I'm sure he had some big friends that would help his business along. But anyway, it's a cool tune, I say. And the tune written by a teen singer, Gary Stites, wrote the song. And also there's a cover out there by Dal LaRock that came out on Artine in 1961. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We are officially in Vinyl Treasure Overtime, so let's continue here for this group known as the Illusions. Now, there were quite a few groups by the same name, Illusions. Now, the first, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I featured the group out of Philly on the Malley label, played both sides of it. Hey Boy, I remember, was one side. Now, last week or 2 weeks ago, I featured another Illusions group on Coral. They do a tune called The Letter, and yet here is another Illusions group that came out on Al Silver's Ember label. I'm featuring the intended A side of the 45. It's from January 61, The Illusions on Ember. The tune is called How High is the Mountain?
How high is the mountain? How deep is the sea? How far is my loved one away from me? Oh, why did she leave me? Oh, where did she go? I've just got to find her. I need her so. I waited and waited and waited for oh so long. And if you should hear my plea, oh won't you please come home? I'll search till I find her, no matter how far. I'll search all over the whole wide world. Oh, why did she leave me? Why did she go? I've just got to find her. I need her so. I need her so. I need her so. And I need her so.
Cha-cha-cha, those are the Illusions. Whoops. The Illusions, January 1961, Al Silver's Ember record label. That is the intended A side of the 45. How High is the Mountain? And then we can play a bunch of records. How Deep is the Ocean? Blah, blah, blah. That's a good segue to a couple other records as John G babbles on here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes here for a Saturday night. Johnny G will not be on next Saturday. Ramtown Mike will be filling in starting at 10 p.m. So tune in next Saturday. I'll be back the following week. As we move on here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime, got another flip side. Featured the group The Shells out of Brooklyn, New York on Hiram Johnson's Johnson label. Played a Gus Gossard favorite, a tune called Baby Walk On In. Let's flip it over. Let's give a listen to the flip side here, and it's a cover song originally recorded by the Crests on Joyce Records back in 1957. This one's from September 61, features Roy Jones doing lead. These are the Shells on Johnson with their rendition of the Crest song, Sweetest One.
Sweetest one,
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Shells. The Shells, September 1961. Roy Jones is the lead singer on that one. They're doing Johnny Maestro and the Crest tune Sweetest One. Johnson Records, the flip side of Baby Walk On In. Jai G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Let's continue here with a few more. And up next, a group known as the Persians. The Persians, and this was their debut single on Jerry Simon's RSVP label out of New York City. And it's from March of '62. Let's give it a spin. The Persians on RSVP. It's called Dance Now.
Whoa, 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 dance now. Oh my darling, won't you dance now? While the music is going around, swing now. Oh my lover, won't you swing now? Come on and swing now, swing with me. All my life, I know I've been without you. I just can't live without you. Come on and dance with me. Dance now, oh my darling, won't you dance now? While the music is going around. Swing now, swing with me. Whoa, 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 whoa,
That's the debut single for the Persians, March 1962 release. Dance Now came out on the RSVP record label. They would go on to have two more releases, one on Gold Eagle, then another one came out, I think original label is Music World, and was picked up by Gold Disc Records. I think that was the case. But anyway, I have all those 45s. Yes, I do. They'll be on a future Vinyl Treasure show. Let's continue with another flip side. I played a tune called Bongo. No, I played the follow-up to Bongo Stomp on the last 50's show, as done by Philly's own Little Joey and the Flips. It was called Bongo Gully, but actually the B-side of the 45 is better in my opinion, so let's give it a whirl. Little Joey is really Joey Hall. This one from August of '62. It's a B-side by Little Joey and the Flips. It's on the Joy label. The tune is called It Was Like Heaven.
Do 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 bom
Bom,
whoop whoop
It was like heaven when my lips touch yours. It was a flight to the clouds, a feeling I've never felt before. My heart sings a melody of what has gone before, and deep down inside
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. I do think that is the better side, by the way. Although I do like the bongo stomp, but I like that side better, the B-side there. Little Joey and the Flips. Joey Hall, he's on lead there, August 1962 on the Joy label. It Was Like Heaven is the name of the tune. They would have one more release on Cameo as Joey and the Flips. And I think I've played that here too. Johnny G doing Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Let's continue here. Got a girl group up next out of Detroit, Michigan. Started recording back in 1959 as the Dream Girls for the local Twirl label. Cameo would pick up that single. Then they did two more on the Metro label until they signed with the Big Top record label out of New York City, and they had 5 releases on Big Top between 1960 and 1962. I am featuring the B-side to their 3rd release, and it's a cover song recorded by another male Detroit group, and they probably heard this group on the radio back in 1956, known as the Royal Jokers. Their tune was called She's Mine, All Mine. That is the male version. They are doing a female version of that song, slightly changed the lyrics a little bit, but it's definitely the same song and a great tune in my opinion. The group is called Bobby Smith and the Dream Girls. Bobby Smith is really Elma Holman. She's on lead. We go to January 1962, Big Top Records, Bobby Smith and the Dream Girls, and their cover tune, originally done by the Royal Jokers, this one called Mine, All Mine. Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are, that is Bobby Smith and the Dream Girls. Elma Holman, she's the lead singer. She's Bobby Smith. January 1962, that's a cover of the Royal Jokers tune, Mine, All Mine. That one there on the Big Top record label. Let's continue here. Yet another flip side, though, from a few weeks ago, longer than a few weeks ago. And it's another girl group, this time this Chicago girl group, first recorded as the Starlets on the Pam label back in 1961. But in 62, a few few of the masters were sold to the OK label. The result was this 45, and I featured the A-side of this record called Impression a number of weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago or so. But I also like the B-side. It's from June of 62. It features Donetta Boone on lead. They were known as Donetta and the Starlets. It's on OK Records. I mentioned June 62. The song is entitled We're Going Steady, You Belong to Me.
There'll be no walking in the park. There'll be no more kissing in the dark. Tell other girls we're going steady, and you belong to me. There'll be no calling on the phone when I'm not there. You belong. Tell everyone you know we're going steady. You belong to me. Oh, darling, I'm yours, and you know you're mine. We love each other so. We've waited so long, and our love is so strong. Everybody's got to know there'll be no walking in the park. There'll be no more kissing in the dark. Tell other girls we're going steady. You belong to me. And you belong to me. You belong to me.
That's a nice girl group sound there by Donetta and the Starlets. Donetta Boone, she's on lead. That's her name. June 1962 on the OK record banner. It's the full title for you collectors out there. In parentheses, We're Going Steady, and then You Belong to Me. Well, that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to cool original 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with Johnny G, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. I've been recording this on the Ustream broadcaster, and for those of you that like looking at the 45s, I will post it up on my YouTube website so you can check out all the cool labels. If you're a collector and you're looking for some of these records, it's kind of fun sometimes to look at the labels. I know I like to look at labels. The first thing I think when Dave the Rave asked me about a record, it's like, what label's it on? Because that's how record collectors really define their records. But anyway, you can check it out there. You can go to my website, vinyltreasures.net. You can stream or download the shows there, and just have a lot of fun with all that. There's a program note. I will not be here next Saturday, December 9th. Ramtown Mike will be filling in starting at 10 p.m., so please tune in for the other side of Ramtown right here on Top Shelf Oldies. I'll be back the following week, the 9, 10, 11, the 16th, I think that's what it is, the 16th. I'll be back for another 50s and early 60s edition of the show. And the closer tonight, Dave the Rave is waiting for the closer tonight. The closer tonight is from 1963 as we head back to Detroit, Michigan. For Harry Balk's Twirl label, who, by the way, the the Dream Girls, their first record came out on the Twirl label, but this is a later one from '63. This singer had only 2 overall releases, and this one's on Twirl. The other was on the Patlow label, and it's a song that he wrote. His name is Ronnie Paterka. I think that's how Turka is how you pronounce it. It's from 1963. It's on Twirl label. The closer's called Happy Street because that's where Johnny G's going, out to the street. The closer tonight is Happy Street from 1963. That's going to do it, folks. Please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Rave and his Relics and Rarities show from 9 to midnight. A lot of cool 60s sounds tomorrow evening, 9 to midnight, right here on Top Shelf Oldies. And that's going to do it, folks. Thank you, Charlene, again for all your help on the research, and want everybody to have a safe and happy week. And I'll see you back here in 2 weeks from 10 to midnight for cool original vinyl 45s out of my collection. Just want to say, everybody, so long.
Come, my little darling, come and go away with me to a place not far away called Happy Street, where there's a fine moonlight just to pass the time away. Yeah, come, my little darling, come and go away with me. Come with me to Happy Street, where love never dies. Come with me, my darling, and then you realize that our love will last forever and a day. Yeah, come, my little darling, come and go away with me. Happy Street is just a place where lovers go, just to be alone where no one will know. So I'm asking you if you'll go with me to that place called Happy Street. Come, my little darling, come and go away with me to a place not far away called Happy Street, where there's love by moonlight just to pass the time away.